instant in the live, you're getting the slippage, you're always going to lose against the spread.
Right.
Like you're simply going to be cut. FTMO and MyForex funds and E8 funding are, they own the broker and they own the bridge. So they're manipulating the slippage and the spread and the commissions and all that stuff. Like newsflash, everybody's doing it now. Like, and what that means, for people that don't know what this means, is basically, there's spread, there's commission, that's fine, but then there's what's called volume bands. So there's bands that basically you can set up, in the bridge settings, and if you enter a 1 lot, there's going to be an additional slippage of X amount. If you enter a 2 lot, there's going to be additional slippage. 3 lot, 4 lot. Every company, it depends what bands they want to set up. It's all customized.
This video was back in 2023 where I covered a massive slippage that was going on in the industry. There was a lot of prop firms popping up, especially with 8 cap. They provided the back end for a lot of prop firms, and they gave the tools for the prop firms to use on the back end to change the slippage. And sometimes it got really bad, like in this example right here. And basically this made a lot of people fail, especially when they got funded. Suddenly the spreads could increase and they would manipulate it so that you would fail the account. Also during that time, the industry was a bit of a wild west. We saw all these prop firms shutting down as well, so it was a crazy time, but thankfully now those times seem to be over. But there's still some things with slippage and spread that I want to go into. Here was my example of how bad the slippage actually was. I was buying Euro USD and look at where it entered me while I was down here. Now this doesn't happen that often anymore, guys. Now this prop firm was using 8 cap, and this is why 8 cap doesn't do prop firms anymore. The prop firms were misusing these settings, and come on, like Euro USD should almost have no spread or slippage. It should be around 0.1 or 1 pip spread, and this is just extreme, right, for Euro USD. But this is what happened, guys, and look, I'm straight away $900 in a minus. What we didn't have during that time was all these MetaTrader alternatives, and I've looked at all of these alternatives, noticed some things going on with these alternatives. I will show you a couple examples where the slippage is just absolutely extreme and unacceptable pretty much, and I've only noticed this with a couple of platforms. Now usually when they have these alternatives, they also have cheaper prices, so it could still be worth it if you can handle the spread, but I think it's very difficult to keep a funded account or to pass a challenge. And what I want to share with you guys is what you should look out for when looking at spreads. And thankfully now we have the new updated Prop Firm Match website where we can look at the spreads live. And as you guys can see, these are constantly changing, they're being updated. So these are the spreads right now with different instruments like Euro USD, gold, and all that good stuff. In my opinion, what prop firms should do is they should be as close to a regular broker as possible. And I mean a good broker, which usually is aiming towards 0.01 pip spread on Euro USD. And as you guys can see right now, a lot of firms are near that 0 mark, 0.01 pip spread on Euro USD. So that is very good. But if it's above 1 pip, it's already quite bad, and I have some examples of that happening which we'll go into later. But USD JPY, there you may see a little bit more spread. 0.3 is actually where you would want to see it, but for example with the fivers, there's literally 0 pip spread on USD JPY. For example, Great British Pound USD, about 0.1, 0.2 is where you want to see. Now gold is a little bit different. You would want to see around a 2 pip spread on gold, so anywhere around 2, 3 max. You don't really want to see it go much higher than that, but 2 pip spread, very good. It might be a volatile market right now, so the spreads might be a little bit higher right now, but overall you want to see around a 2 pip spread. With indices, you want to see about a 20 to 30 pip spread. Now guys, in my personal opinion, I've seen the worst spreads with MetaTrader. As you guys can see over here, 160 pip spread on Dow Jones, for example, here during the New York session after news, because you can see here the news was before that, like 1 hour before that, and it was pretty low impact as well, so that couldn't affect it. But here you can actually see, look, 8 pip spread here on Maven, for example, which usually actually has really bad spreads. But you can see some of these examples are extreme, like here for example on gold, 37 pip spread, but it's actually, let's say 3.7 because they're calculated differently. But here you can actually see that there's a 1 pip spread on Euro USD. Here again an example where, you know, Dow Jones is for example pretty low spread, but here you can see a 10 pip spread on Euro USD, for example, which is during the London session as well. You know, you really want to see it around the 1 pip spread. I think that's a little extreme for Euro USD. It's the most traded forex pair. It should be very, very low. And I took these screenshots, for example, very close to each other. Here you can see like literally 1 minute after, difference between 2 different prop firms, very different types of spread. So I'm not sure if the prop firms actually jack up the spread or if MatchTrader gives that too, but I've seen that difference. As you guys can see here, 13 pips, for example, on gold. If I switch it over, 40 pips spread on gold. And here we can see 1 pip spread on Euro USD and then 6 pip spread on Euro USD. Literally 1 minute later. And guys, this does make a huge difference. It's not like a small thing. It does eat up your profits. It does impact if you're scalping. It's a very big deal. Now guys, if you remember the previous video on trading conditions, you remember that the platforms really made a difference in those tests. So for example, FTMO scored the last place with CTrader, while some other firms are doing really well with CTrader. They were not doing as well, but they did better with DXTrade. And then you see some firms with CTrader outperform MetaTrader. So every prop firm is a little bit different. So if you look at the platform like MatchTrader, you can see that a lot of people are saying that there's brutal slippage. People who say literally half of the profit was gone. My stop loss was break even, but it didn't respect it. Like a lot of these stories, guys, happening with MatchTrader. Now, on the other hand, if you look at CTrader, a lot of good reviews. The Trade Locker platform has a lot of good reviews. So I think nowadays with slippage and spread, you really need to look at the platforms, and you can do that really easily with Prop Firm Match. You can check the platforms over here, which ones they offer. With MetaTrader and CTrader, we actually see the spreads live here, and you can actually see them in real time. So this is a really great tool. What prop firms really should be striving for, like I said, is to be as close to a regular broker as possible. If they're jacking up the spreads extremely while you're basically in a demo environment during the challenge, it doesn't make much sense. It just makes it harder for traders to pass, and I think that's not justified. So these top prop firms are doing a great job nowadays with the spreads, and I think that's really good. What you could also do is you could go to the review section on Prop Firm Match, and you could pick out a prop firm, let's say Maven. We do control find and let's go for spread. And here you can see, I believe the spread is quite big during the challenge phase. So you can also check the individual reviews, see what people are writing about the spread. This guy, for example, said they need to work on their spread. And we can go to a prop firm like the Fivers, who's known for really good spreads. The spreads is what I like the most. It's very tight. You can also check the reviews and see what people have written. There's much more detailed reviews than, for example, on Trustpilot. So I hope that helps you guys avoid really bad slippage. Don't always fall for the cheapest price, but check also the reviews, check also the spreads live if they do have that. It's really good if they do have that you can actually check the spreads live. But if the spreads are not too bad, you might want to go for a good offer as well. So check Prop Firm Match. They give the best discounts at the moment. You can see all the offers here for April, for example. Some of them are extremely high, like 50% off. So do check out Prop Firm Match in the description below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.